Hi, my name is Brad Jankord with the South Dakota Development Corporation. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about three main types of debt that you might use and how to buy on credit. I've been with JA, this would be my third year, but just wanted to shoot this quick little video to talk about the different ways that you can access loans and debt. So as I know the majority of you are high school students, the first piece of debt you're probably going to get is a credit card. Credit cards are not free money. They have to be paid back, even though I have friends who are my age, 30s, who still aren't sure that you have to pay them back. With credit cards, the main thing you have to remember is interest rate. And I know most of you know what interest rate is, but just really quickly, interest rate is the amount that you're going to pay on the balance of whatever you have left on your credit card. So with an interest rate, obviously lower would be better. So if you had, let's say you had a $500 balance at the end of a month, the credit card company is going to charge you your interest rate or your rate of interest for carrying that balance month over month. So one thing you have to remember is if an interest rate is 1% on $500, that would be roughly $5. But most credit cards are around 15 to 20%. So if you have 20% interest, you're looking at almost $100 just to carry that balance for that 1 month. So all of a sudden you have $500 and it turns into $600 that you owe. So credit cards should be used very carefully. They should be used. They're a good way to form your credit. And by forming your credit, what I really mean is all folks out there have a credit score. And the way you build a good credit score is by actually starting and maintaining credit early. So when it comes to a credit card, one of the things I really highly recommend is to take out a credit card, get a very low maximum balance. And what that means is you can set your balance. The credit card company might tell you that you can have $10,000 in credit. But if you're, a high school student just working a regular job, that might not be enough, be an amount that you'd be comfortable with. So I'd recommend doing a low amount of, credit, do maybe a $500 max, and just put stuff on it that you do, maybe you pay with your debit card, like your gas or, any fast food you go get. Put it on there, and then every month, make sure you pay that off so you pay zero interest. So if you make your payments on time and pay the full amount, you won't have interest. So that's kind of the first thing I want to talk about was credit cards. The second one, the next step is, as I kind of alluded to, is auto loans. Auto loans are the first piece of what you'll call term debt. So credit cards are what are called variable or revolving debt. Auto loans are term debt. Normally they're for 5 to 7 years. And those can range anywhere from 3.5% to all the way up to 10 to 12%, depending on your credit score. Obviously, most people, myself included, when I bought my first car and had to get an auto loan, I had my parents co-sign. And really, when your parents do that, they're expecting you to make the payments on those. So make sure whatever you do, don't buy a car you can't afford and a loan you can't afford. Otherwise, you'll only have that car for a short period of time and it'll get repossessed. So the difference between that and a credit card is you'll know what your monthly payment is every month because it's designed to where the full amount of the loan will be paid off by the end. So I highly recommend, you talking with, if you're thinking about buying a car, go talk with a banker. They will help guide you through the process. That's what they're there to do. They are financial consultants and they're there to help. You go through a car buying process. The third piece of debt that you'll get to down the line or later on in the next few years is student loan debt. I highly recommend that you take control and make sure that you have all of your necessary documentation, your FAFSA, etc. I was lucky enough to work in a student loan department for a large financial firm here in town for a long time, and it was always an issue with students not knowing how much debt they were going to go under. So if you do have a college in mind, or when you get to that point, make sure that you have you know how much that college is going to cost. There are estimating tools, there are guidance counselors. Use all the resources you have, and not just hopefully pick a number and take out that, and because after college you do have to pay it off, which many people are still paying off their college loans. And in those college loans, two things to think about is public and private. Private loans being through a financial institution like a bank, or the public being, like your Stafford loan or your Pell Grant, things like that go through the federal government. From that standpoint, the federal loans at times have lower interest rates, and sometimes are more easily accessible, depending on what type of institution you go to. So just make sure you know all your options. There's a lot of good resources out there around college debt, and I highly recommend that you go out and find all the options that are out there, depending on what type of institution you go to for life after high school. The last piece I'll talk about probably seems a ways in the future for most of us, or most of you, I should say, and that's a mortgage. So what that really is the ability and the term debt that I talked about with auto loans to buy your house. And really what that's kind of a longer process. Obviously you have to put money down like you would with an auto loan, but in many ways they're very similar. Mortgages are normally 15, 20 to 25 to even 30-year mortgages, whereas, as I talked about with the auto loans, those are more 5 to 7 years. Again, same premise, monthly payment is the same every month. And really when you go, having gone through the mortgage process myself, I would highly recommend that you find somebody you trust as a banker. Most people have friends, or maybe acquaintances that might work at a bank. So I would highly, recommend having, conversations with them. And if you don't, reach out. You can reach out to me. I'll happily connect you with some, mortgage bankers. There's a lot of great ones in town. We have a lot of great people here in Sioux Falls that are helping people get into, their first time homes. But I know as high schoolers, that's a ways down the line. I just wanted to cover those 4 pieces of debt. I kind of snuck that college one in there just because I think that's, again, it's not when you think about buying on credit, that's not really a piece of debt you think of. But, for many of you, it is going to be, likely, your first big piece of debt that you take on. So those were kind of the four topics of debt I wanted to talk about today. I appreciate JA kind of putting all this stuff together. I hope you students have the ability to, hopefully learn and take something from this. I apologize I can't be there with you, but we all know why that is. And I hope you have a good rest of your year. Thank you.